28th of May. I am 27 days through May with very little to show for my challenge. That's not true. My challenge in May was to revise a chapter a day, which was insane. Insane considering I'm not at that level of revision in my draft stage, but I'm at the pretty much rewrite completely stage. So don't know why I thought that I could do that, especially given that it's the transition period from dry season to stormy season here in Florida. That is really hard on my migraines. So I've been in a lot of pain and I've had many days out of commission. Returning to like a computer screen to do a lot of rewriting and editing and just mapping out changes and ideas after spending 8 hours a day, 8.5 hours a day on a screen for work is hard, especially with the migraines. So it's not been going great, but I'm trying to remind myself that's also kind of crazy to see it that way because I am making progress. More progress than if I hadn't tried to do this, which was the whole point. The whole point was also to push me to go faster with rewriting because I was trying to do too much with each scene and each chapter that I'm like changing and rewriting. I was trying to do too much at once in the stage. And so part of this was to force me to do it in stages a little bit easier, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's the 28th of May. My tire is basically flat. My husband's not here, he's traveling. And so what's a girl to do when work's done and her May challenge isn't going the way she plans? Well, I'll tell you, a girl is to set herself another challenge, a challenge of writing 20 hours, 20-hour writing challenge. I wrote down 20 hours when I was planning this out, but now I'm thinking about it, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe I was including Sunday in that, whatever. We'll see. A lot of hours, 16 to 20 hours is the plan somehow. I'm gonna Uber to a coffee shop today and do 2 hours there before they close. Gonna eat really quick, eat some pasta from the other night so that I'm not super hungry at this coffee shop because they don't always have food there, really. I'm gonna come back, clean up the house a little bit, go on my walk, try and do another writing session, an hour to maybe 2 hours, an hour at least. It's okay if I can only do 3 hours tonight. I guess whatever ends up in the title of this video is what I decided on. Anyway, so wish me luck. We'll see if I can get any clips of the coffee shop without feeling too awkward. Here's my pasta that I'm gonna eat really quick. Hello, I am home. I think I worked from 4:42 to 5:48, and I think I'm gonna be generous and call that an hour. Obviously, I had hoped for almost 2 hours. That's okay. I'm going to try. I'm here now, back at my house, and it's like 6:15 or 6:20 maybe. I'm going to try and work from 6:30 to 7:30 and get another hour in. Then go on my walk, come home, eat / make dinner and eat, and potentially go on and potentially do another hour of work. What I'm working on is not it's not giving revising, it's giving just straight up writing snippets of what my main character's emotional journey should look like in scene so that I can just kind of use those as like goalposts as I'm revising. Because the problem is I just keep getting too bogged down in what's happening at the scene level in these revisions, which is just my problem. I have a hard time maintaining the big picture stuff, so I'm just doing big picture stuff outside of the scene level stuff all together in terms of the emotional arc, and then I'm gonna go back and insert them in as I go through at the chapter and scene level again. So forget the whole chapter a day thing. We don't even care about chapters anymore. We're just having characters be selfish, realize their flaws, and have their little aha moment conversations and stuff, because I'm just not getting that otherwise. Not technically an hour, like 45 minutes, but I did like 15 minutes of sitting on my couch beforehand thinking. That helped to give me a jumping off point here for this session, so I'm going to count it because I'm happy with where I am and I think this is a good place to stop. I've about 1,000 words on top of the 1,000 words I did earlier. Didn't come into this looking to get more words, since I was supposed to be cutting words and making words better and rewriting, but these are things that I think need to happen, scenes that will ultimately replace other scenes. They need to be in here, and they hopefully will also help me cut down the parts that are less necessary. So now it's literally just about 7:30. I think I'm worried that if I go on my walk, I will come back and not want to cook dinner because it'll be so late, and I'll be like, oh my god, it's too late. I still want to go on my walk and I still want to make dinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the next 10 minutes to try and really quickly cut up some vegetables and soak some lentils so things can be ready when I get back and I can just throw it in a pot. Honestly, the making dinner part of this might be harder than the writing part, and definitely harder than the walking part. That's not the easiest part for me. Okay, but we're gonna do it. 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna do like 45 minutes and round that up to an hour. I did do some writing and like thinking and writing my notebook earlier, so I think it evens out, if I'm being honest, to 3 hours. But I'm not really sure what. I think I might just spend some more time writing in my notebook, like kind of organizing some thoughts for changes, because I focus too much on like changing scenes, writing new ones, whatever. I'll just be doing it to do it. I'm gonna do this, and even though it doesn't feel like writing, the last time I did this a few days ago, that led to what I wrote today, which I'm really proud of and really happy about. So I think it's worth it. It's hard when you are progressing, but it doesn't feel like the right kind of progress. It's hard when you do work, but it doesn't feel like the right kind of work to call writing. But it is writing. It's the story, and the story does not work without this. And this is just what revision is. You can't just pour out words and be like, oh, there you go, did 1,500 today in, an hour. You can't get that satisfaction. But drafting for me is, I think, the easiest part. This revision is pulling teeth, and I need to learn how to work with it, and that's, sometimes that means you just have to give up on the satisfaction. But I'm gonna work my notebook today for 40 minutes. Maybe I'll write some stuff down in my Scrivener doc to kind of like guide my stuff for tomorrow, but I think we'll be okay. I feel pretty good about what I did today, and I think I can call it 3 hours. Well, I'm not done yet, but I'm feeling good. It's 3:37. Work is over for me today on Thursday, so I'm hoping to repeat my success yesterday. I got 3 hours of writing done in 3 separate sessions, and I got 1,000 words written in each of those sessions. That's 3,000 plus words. Don't worry about the fact that I was meant to be collapsing and combining and cutting scenes, not adding new ones. This is necessary. This is fueling me. So we're good. We're good with that. What I'm going to do today, I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it'll be in the same vein of adding words, but maybe not. I might be just doing some rearranging, which if I'm doing rearranging, then that'll feel not super productive because it's not writing instead in my head. It won't be, but we're going to focus on the time spent. That way I can feel good about it. My AC is loud. I managed to write for maybe an hour and a half exactly. By write, I mean I did what I said I was going to do, and I worked on planning and moving things around in my notes more than I did on writing anything. I maybe wrote like 300 words of a scene that I was finishing up from last night, but most of it was just like really focusing on my sort of concise outline and just moving things around and adding new things in based on the new scenes that I wrote. Good news is though, they do overlap with other scenes, I think, so they're not new for sure, and they're also hopefully, I think I cut down on some scenes too, actually, just in general, so just my planning. I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm gonna eat dinner early tonight. I'm getting kind of a migraine, honestly. Probably more than an hour and a half. I'm just gonna round down to 3 hours total today. I did actually end up doing a lot of no writing, but It was an hour and a half plus spent on my book. I opened a new Scrivener document and I imported chapters that I've been through already and started like making notes on how those are still gonna change further now that I've had this new kind of idea that I'm working on. Whatever. The point is, I did 3 hours technically. I only wrote like 240, 50 new words today, but it doesn't matter because I spent 3 hours, absolutely, at least, if not more, working on my book, and that counts. And I am really trying to remind myself that that is what revision is. That is progress in revision, even if it doesn't feel like it. Why does it not scratch my brain? I don't know. I love drafting, I love writing, and revision doesn't feel like writing. Sometimes it does, but when you're just like planning and thinking through things, which you need to do, it's important. It's more important than the drafting part. It just, yeah, I don't know. It's not as fun. I am excited though about these changes though, so my head is kind of okay. I did not go for a walk. I just kind of chilled, and it's for the best. Hopefully I can take a shower and go to bed without a headache being triggered. Anyways, hopefully tomorrow I can get 5 hours, maybe a few different sessions and sprints. Uh-oh, dirty toilet, dirty toilet. Oh, who is that? Get it. Oh, is it my time? Let go, let go. Oh, you're so strong. Oh. Friday, it's 3:45-ish. I just stopped work. I'm not gonna go to a coffee shop today. Well, I'm not going to Uber to a coffee shop today, and I'm not gonna write at a coffee shop today. I do think I'm gonna go ahead and fit my walk in now, even though it's been crazy hot at this time, and it still is. It's just, it rained a little bit today, and it's a little bit better without the sun overhead. I'm hoping it doesn't give me a migraine, because I do feel it like in my neck still. I've managed to not like fully succumb. I've just kind of been like dodging in and out of that like pre-phase because I've been sitting all day at work looking at my computer screen. It has very much like started to like flare up again. So I think a walk will both hurt and help it, if you know what I mean. We'll see. It will get me out of that computer screen all day mode, which I need. I think that'll help push me into the next phase of tonight, which is focusing on writing again. Yesterday I spent 3 hours working on the book, but today I would like to try and actively like get some scenes finalized for this stage. Obviously I'll come back, but yeah, I you know what I did last night? I started rearranging a lot of things. Oh my gosh, and so now there's a lot of things to fix because of that. Anyways, I'm gonna walk to that coffee shop, get coffee, and walk back, and then I'm going to work on things here. I've really nailed down the internal arc of Shar, my main character, recently, and because of that, a lot of this rearranging has happened because I am trying to have things align a little bit more easily. I want the stakes to make a little bit more chronological sense, and so now I think I need to go back and rethink Luca's really quickly today, and then I know that's going to add some text, right? And then I can hopefully make sure that that rearranging is set. And then I need to do the same thing for Francesca. It's 10:50. I started writing around 8. I took some breaks in between here and there to come inside and doom scroll for a second or two. I'm not going to call it 3 hours because it's not. I think I'm going to say 2.5 hours today, which has been quite generous. And also not at all what I wanted. I wanted, what, 4 to 5? Not only am I not getting 4 to 5 hours of work done today, I'm not even getting 3, which is what I did past 2 days, but I think I was just extremely burnt out, not just writing wise, because I actually really want to write. I don't feel burnt out writing wise, burnt out screen wise, and I needed to do screen things, you know, and also just burnt out brain wise because it's Friday. That means I'm working all week. Yeah, Monday was off, but still. And then on top of work, I've been going straight into brain stuff with writing the past few days. So yeah, I think my brain just needed a break. I needed to take a nap after work and stuff. So, but I'm still gonna try to just do a lot tomorrow. I don't know. I would like to wake up early. I kind of want to force myself to go to 3 coffee shops tomorrow. I don't have a freaking working vehicle though, so I'd be Ubering, and that is a lot of money here in Tampa. I can't work in my house anymore. I cannot do it. About it. I am back home. I got 3 hours done. I want to get another 3 hours done today, and I can do it, I'm pretty sure. I don't feel too burnt out with the writing just because I was mainly focused on one freaking scene, which I still didn't finish actually. And you know what? It's okay. It's a really, really important longer scene. There's a lot, and I'm approaching it differently than I had before. It was only really achieving or addressing one topic, kind of one beat. Now I'm trying to get 3 different things across in the scene, and so I'm being a lot more purposeful. It's your standard tell a story within a story type of scene where the story being told by one of the characters says a lot about the journey that all 3 of the main characters will go on, and that was true in the first draft. In this iteration, I wanted to do that, but I wanted to level up even further, get some other themes in there as well, and I just want it to also make more sense for how the interpersonal relationships are progressing at this level and setting up the following scenes a little bit more easily. But I am going to take a little break. I think it's going to be late night again, but hopefully better than yesterday. I want to finish working on that scene, and then I want to do some other things, some more rearranging. I'm going to watch some YouTube, I think, first, and paint while I do. I'm trying my best today. I'm focused a little bit more on enjoying the process and just getting as much time, but just kind of dedicating my day to this. I just want to make it a day about the story and then focusing on it. So technically today is May 31st, so technically it's also the last day of my May challenge. I am going to be doing this tomorrow too though, June 1st, because I won't be able to meet my 20 hours goal today. I think I'll be able to meet it tomorrow. I think that's fine given that I went into May wanting to rewrite a chapter a day. Didn't happen, and I also wasn't really even able to write until May 2nd, May 3rd because I was so sick from migraines. I'm gonna let the Sunday of this weekend be kind of lumped in with the rest of the month. I think that I can make that work and feel good about it. So okay, I'm gonna paint a little bit and then I'm gonna hopefully write, maybe walk, we'll see. Been 2 hours working on Project Diadem. I don't think I'm rounding up. I think I'm rounding down, but I am gonna round down because I definitely spaced off a few times, so we're gonna be lenient though. I think it was 2 hours. I want to go take a walk and then come back, and I'll probably work more than 2 hours anyways when I come back because I need to get more done, and I feel like I can. So if it's 8 now, I'm gonna go for a walk, get back hopefully around 8:40, order some food maybe, and write until the food comes and keep writing as long as possible. Walk, and I have 2 hours of writing I need to do. I might try and shoot for 3. I am probably going to do a lot of organizing and making notes throughout stuff, even though I really wanted to write. I think if I channel my energy correctly and let myself do that tonight, watching some YouTube, listening to music in the background, just kind of letting myself be chill. I have pizza coming. I think if I do that, then that'll put me in a good situation to actually spend that time on the book and not give up, and then to also have time tomorrow to really hone in on fixing some of these scenes. I might get a scene done tonight too. It's so funny because today's May 31st, the last day of May, and I'm like, how many chapters did I really revise for this? But even though it wasn't that many, I'll have to count. I think it was like 10 chapters that I've touched. How about that? I wouldn't say they're technically revised for the stage. But you know, the whole point of me trying to force myself to do this fast was so that I didn't spend so much time on each chapter trying to do everything at once and just focus on like the main things that I needed to do, even if that meant leaving it in bad shape, because you can't do everything in one revision stage, no matter how much I want to try to do that. I think given even that lack of intended progress, I still feel like I came up with a lot of really good ways to solve some issues that I think is going to make fixing the rest of the chapters in this first half of Act 2, where my biggest problems are. I think it's going to be a lot easier now. There are just so many problems still. I feel like I've done a really good job of figuring out how to rearrange my stakes, how to have parallels in some of these stories within a story. It's 11. I'm going to call it at 6 hours today. I did end up actually getting through a whole scene. I combined 2 versions of that scene to one. So that is something. Tomorrow, my last 6 hours or 5 hours, 5.5, whatever, I would like that to be spent on Act 2, first half of Act 2. So, and I think a good use of that time, since I've been spending so much focus on Char and Luca's internal arcs and just making sure that they really make sense in Act 2, the first half of Act 2 at least, I want to use my last 6 hours to do the same for Francesca. I wrote 2 hours earlier and then took a break, and I've been working for about another hour, so that's 3 hours. I have something that I need to leave the house for around 5:30, so if I work from now until 4:30, it's another hour and a half. 2 hours till 5. 2 more hours would be good. What would that bring me to? 5, and that's what I need. My head hurts though, is the only issue. And the other issue is that I'm focusing, as I said I would last night, I am focusing today on clearing up some of these issues with Francesca's arc and making sure that I know where those beats are being hit and writing out the actual emotional realizations that are missing or aren't clear enough. I feel like so much of having a good, compelling character arc is knowing when to let your characters be weak, but because there are people you want to like, and even people that you sometimes see parts of yourself in, it can be hard to let them be weak. And I'm not talking about like cute weak or soft weak, but you know, like genuinely selfish or people pleasing in a way that is just completely destructive, not only to themselves but to everyone around them. Because you're like, well, no, I want them to be strong. They're strong. They are strong, but strong people are weak too. Strong people have flaws too, and their flaws need to like really be flying, okay? But it can be hard because sometimes I can be going through things and I'm like, what is the issue? The issue is I'm not letting them be weak enough. I'm letting them be a little too cool or a little too okay with everything. I'm really good at like first drafts, letting my characters be like really depressed but still like awesome and strong, because that comes really like naturally. Like I'm very in tune with my own depression and my own issues around like dealing with stress and trauma. I am not as willing to accept when I'm being selfish or when my people pleasing gets the best of me, or other things that I'm, noticing my characters that probably need to be, played up. But yeah, even when you're not writing self-inserts, because I truly don't think, all of these characters have bits and pieces of me, but they also have things that I don't really relate to as well. But you still, I think, really have to look at yourself and how you understand yourself and how self-aware you are of certain issues as you're writing these people, because we're writing in someone else's head, and the only head that we're actually in is our own. So I have to kind of like constantly question, like, why is this flat? And I'm like, oh, it's flat because of my own blind spots. Anyways, Francesca has a lot of areas that are flat because of my own blind spots. She's an older sibling, and I think I'm the oldest sibling too. She starts out with the most, like, not the most obvious flaws, but flaws that are like more funny, I think, and kind of like, oh, well, you got yourself in a bad situation, didn't you? But I don't think I wanted to interrogate the issues that come with being so ready to take everything on, so ready to tie yourself to the whims of others. And this is why writing fictional characters is probably just as effective as some types of the therapy that I've been through, at least, because it is legitimately forcing me to think through like certain things, I have to say. And I've been in a lot of therapy, so I highly recommend, though, therapy if you're gonna write fictional characters. My head is hurting though. That is gonna be the issue, is whether or not this headache knocks me out before these 2 hours are up. I think I can do it. It's June 6th. It's quite a few days since June 1st, which was the last day of this challenge for me. And I got a lot done. I did finish the 20 hours on Sunday. And I am pretty proud of how the entire challenge went, honestly. I truly did Wednesday to Sunday just either work and then get to writing with a few breaks in there for walking and dinner. Or for Saturday and Sunday, I mostly wrote with some breaks in between for writing and dinner and a few other things mixed in there. I got a good amount done, and even though it wasn't, again, what I had wanted to get done, like a lot of this time I let myself focus on planning, sort of, or replanning and rethinking things, but kind of in a more structured, on the page manner. I felt like I was able to take those notes and ideas and more like quickly apply them to what I was working on, rather than just kind of get into the rabbit hole of more ideas and more thinking and more researching, which is what's happened in the past when I've let myself dedicate some of that protected writing time to that sort of more brainstorming related activity. And again, I was so set on spending a lot of May using the preparation notes that I'd come up with in March and April to rewrite it chapter a day. Unfortunately, I just think I was still so stuck in this chapter by chapter mindset, which is so funny because I didn't want to be, and I said that what I had been doing was to help get me out of that, but the challenge was inherently that way. I think for me, I'm just someone that has to go back and forth between re-evaluating the big picture and then going back to chapter by chapter, because that's how I kind of get these big ideas, but then can play in the sandbox a little bit more closely and see how these ideas will work or how they might not work if I'm applying them or evaluating them like that, if that makes sense. I don't know if anything I said makes sense there, but the good news is that after spending a lot of May not having very much progress, that's not even true. I was making progress, but it wasn't the progress I set out to make, right? So that was bumming me out a bit. And a lot of it was due to being sick so much and having to deal with so many migraines. That didn't help. However, then when it came to this challenge, the last week of May, I felt like it was a way for me to feel a little bit more in control of what I was doing, because the hourly amount felt like, especially over this like kind of longer time frame, it wasn't 20 hours in a weekend, it was 20 hours over the course of, 5 days. I felt like it was a little bit more manageable. I had more agency over it. Even if I wasn't feeling well, I could move things around easier.